What is up, people? It is me, Monster58, and welcome back to another video review. Today we are going to be taking a look at the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Super Superhero Orange Piccolo, and I'm really happy to finally get this figure in hand, as we've had Gohan Beast for a bit, but I'm finally happy to get this big boy in hand because, yeah, it's a new form for Piccolo. For those of you who don't know, my favorite character in all of Dragon Ball is Piccolo. I've loved his character development throughout the entire series. I love how he essentially goes from, I want to kill Goku, to, oh, I'm now a grandpa, and he grew really soft over the years. He still has his stoic, hard edge, very, no funny business type of personality, but he's definitely softened up. But besides me gushing about the character, I'm just really happy Piccolo got his own special form in the movie, and I'm happy that it's canon. And so without further ado, let's take a look at the box here. So as you can see, the box looks pretty amazing. We got a nice artwork of, obligatory product shots of Orange Piccolo there. We obviously have the SH Figuarts, and then we have the Orange Piccolo that comes across the side here. And obviously you can see the Dragon Ball Super, the Tamashii Nations, the Bandai logo, and Toei Animation. Then turn around here, you can get some more product shots, obviously, of Orange Piccolo himself. Turning around here on the other side, really nothing except you can see the Orange Piccolo banner right there across in silver. And then finally we have our other obligatory product shots here on the back. As you can see, some nice poses, and obviously the accessories for the base Gohan as well. As you can see, I'll zoom in on that. You can see that. Yep, you can see that. And oh yeah, I mean, there's nothing else too much. Overall, the boxes are standard SH Figuarts. It's just a big box because obviously he's a big chonky boy. But without further ado, let's get this guy out of the box and see how he is. Alrighty, folks, here we have the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Super Superhero Orange Piccolo out of the box, and I gotta say, this guy looks fantastic. I mean, this is Orange Piccolo. Like, this is exactly what I thought that I would want with an Orange Piccolo figure, and or just Orange Piccolo, how he looks, right? So as you can see, we do have some incredible shading across. You can kind of see it here. Some incredible purple, like light purple and dark purple shading across the entirety of the figure. You also see obviously the nice details for the musculature, these parts of his body. I don't exactly know what to call them. Very nice face sculpt. You can see that, and I'll show more of it in the heads. But they did a fantastic job, I think, with the paint on that. Really nice for the belt here as well. Just going down here, you can see just very well done in terms of just how this guy looks. This is the definitive Orange Piccolo, and even the fists have the painted nails that Piccolo tends to have and has had throughout a lot of the series. And if you turn around on back, you can actually see the Namekian symbol on his back that Shenron gave him after it was like, give me a little extra and something a little extra, right? Again, and one thing to address here is the name as well as the design. If you don't like this figure, you probably, in my opinion, don't like the design or the name. And I'm not gonna lie. Initially, I thought it was dumb too, and I kind of still do think it is dumb. The name and necessarily the maybe the design, I guess, but I think the design's actually really cool. Now that some people have sort of broken it down and maybe given theories to why they made him orange, which I'll talk about in a second here. But I do like it's grown on me, is what I'm trying to say. This has grown on me a lot more than I thought it would. Now, the theory that is prevailing on why he's orange and red going from green, right? He goes green and then he goes into this yellow green color, which is his next like sort of like Super Saiyan 1 form, and then goes orange. The reason people the theories that are out there that describe why Piccolo is orange with the red is because it represents the Dragon Balls, right? It's the idea that Shenron is obviously and Porunga are the masters of the Dragon Balls, and that's the only reason they exist, to grant wishes through the Dragon Balls. And so the orange is obviously supposed to represent the orange Dragon Balls themselves, and the red's obviously supposed to represent the stars on them, and that still continues through the Super Dragon Balls as well. And so I think that's a nice detail if that's true. I'd like to believe that that's true. And overall, I do think that the detail on this guy is brilliant, and I do think they did a fantastic job. I just wish there maybe a tiny more shading, especially in the musculature, maybe in these areas specifically, like in his little appendages, I guess you would call them. But overall, this guy still looks fantastic, and he's a chonky boy. If you want me to measure him, I believe he is about 8 inches tall, if I'm not mistaken. I'll put that on screen right now just to double check, because the ruler is actually behind my display right now, and I don't want to move it and ruin the shot or anything like that. But I believe he's about 8 inches tall, so he's almost as tall as Broly, which is really really cool to see this guy. Keep in mind, what I find crazy is this is Piccolo. Piccolo's a tall character. He's like 7'2", I believe. Like canonically, he's like 7'2". He's a really tall guy. But Broly kind of dwarfs him still, which is crazy to think that a Saiyan is like, because right, like Namekians, a good chunk of them are tall, like Piccolo. Obviously, there's the short ones, but you know what I mean. Like, damn, Broly's a big boy. It makes you realize how big Broly is. But yeah, this guy's really, really good. Now, getting into some comparisons, there's only one figure I have on hand, unfortunately, at the moment. I'm still getting my collections thrown around, but obviously, because when it comes to this figure, there's only one character, in my opinion, that should be represented alongside of him. So, sending him off to the side here. Here he is with Gohan Beast, and as you can see, there is a massive size difference. I mean, Gohan comes up to Piccolo's chest, and as you can see them back to back here, the tip of Gohan's hair hits the... Come on, you stupid, stand up. There. The back of Gohan's hair hits essentially the base of Piccolo's head. So as you can see, there is a massive size difference between these two, but this is how they're supposed to look. I'm actually going to do this real quick. I'll swap these guys around for a second. Excuse me. Because there will be a shot I put in from the movie. That's after the major fight has happened. This is how they should look together. Here, I will do this, and you guys can take a look at the shot right now. So you can see this is a really good size. I mean, this is pretty much as spot on as you can get spot on. Overall, this looks really good. And again, I'm really, really happy with what they did with Orange Piccolo and Gohan here. I think that these two look fantastic together, and I'm going to be displaying them together in a sort of interesting way. But I'm really, really excited to finally have Orange Piccolo on here. So yeah, really, really good stuff. All right, now getting into the articulation. Now this is kind of where this guy faults a little bit. And it's the same thing with Gohan. Gohan's articulation is basically his biggest fault, in my opinion. And that's the same thing for Piccolo, although I do have one more little QC thing. I don't know how consistent this is across other figures, but we'll talk about that in a second. So, getting into the articulation, first off, you do have a ball joint at the head, so obviously you can do the wiggles, and then you can look down about that far, you can look up pretty far as well, which is really, really nice, and then obviously you can do a full 360, although that it doesn't really necessarily matter at the end of the day to do a full 360, because, why would a human character be able to... And there goes his head. Sorry about that, guys, but as I can say, there's no point for a human character to do a full 360. That's what I was trying to say. Shoulders, they can go a full 360 as well. You do have an upper bicep rotation, and then you obviously have more than 90 degrees at the elbow, which is obviously really nice. But this is where it sucks. Obviously, these guys have a butterfly joint, but because of the way that this is designed, as you can see, this whole piece right here, you can't really get you can get in like this, but it's not insanely flexible. And the same thing, I guess, going backwards, you can't really do that. And the butterfly joint here is kind of useless just due to the way that the whole upper chest area is designed. It's not awful, but it's definitely not as good as, other figures, and it kind of blows that it was designed this way. Ab crunch is also kind of non-existent because of the way it's designed. Like, yeah, you can get that much, which is still nice, and you can still get some nice back, right? It's not like this is awful or anything, but it's definitely just less than standard, right? It's not as good as some other of the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball stuff that we've experienced in the past so far. Legs can kick forward, they can go back. Kind of like this. You probably want to do it more like this, I guess. Knees obviously do really, really good bends. You get an upper thigh rotation, and then you do get ankle rocker just a little bit back and forth here, as you can see. Can't do some crazy stuff, but obviously this guy's a big brute, so I wouldn't necessarily expect him to do the craziest poses, but you can get some really nice poses out of this guy. Just understand that this is where I'm going to be faulting the figure on is just the fact that it's just not super well articulated. Other than that, it's a really good figure, in my opinion, just, as I'll talk about in the conclusions, but still, that is something to note. All right, and finally, let's take a look at Piccolo's accessories, and he comes with a fair bit. So we're gonna actually set these hands off to the side for now. Let's take a look at just regular Orange Piccolo's accessories. As you can see, you do get the classic sort of open palm blasty hands, very nicely sculpted. You can see sort of the nail polish there. I know it's not nail polish, but the black nails that they give there, very very nicely detailed all around. I really really do like how these look. Very very cool. Same thing here. You do get the grippy sort of fighting pose hands as well. Very, very cool stuff here. Again, very nicely painted fingernails. And in addition to this, if you want to just remove it, so very easy to just snap these off. And then you can just put these on, like, just takes a little bit of doing. Sometimes it's harder to put these back on than to actually remove them, or vice versa. It just depends on the tolerance. But yeah, as you can see, very cool stuff. Very, very easy to put on his new hands. And in addition to this, so let me just remove this again. Put these here. And we will put his hands there. Whoops, I knocked over the heads. My bad. Um, Getting into the heads, you got some really, really nice facial expressions on the head. So first off, you have the smirk, which I didn't expect them to add, but I think that that looks really, really nice. Very, very, very cool stuff. Very simple. Nothing crazy, but I do like that they gave him a smirk and very easily to detach the head. Just pull it off, and then you can see in the bottom here there is a groove there in the center at the bottom, and then there's the circle, and then obviously just match it to the head right there, and then you just push it in, and there we go. Now we have Piccolo with a smirk, and it looks really, really freaking good. Getting into the other heads, you do have this gritting teeth, like he's angry about to, something's about to happen. And then what's really, really cool is it's just well painted. I just really, really enjoy how this looks. And then finally, you do have the classic "Let's scream," screaming face, and that's a very, very cool. So really, really cool stuff there. I think it looks fantastic, and I'm really, really happy with how they painted the faces. I think those look absolutely amazing, and we're actually going to keep the smirk face on him. I think that looks really, really good. Last thing, you do get hands for Gohan. You do get regular hands for base Gohan, and they have these little plugs in them where you can obviously take these and then you can plug them into this. So this is like a Kamehameha effect, which I think looks really, really good. I think it's very well done. As you can see, there's just a peg hole right there, and then you'll just obviously fit the hand into that, like so. And then obviously you'll just attach the hand to Gohan. Excuse me, that fell. I'm sorry about that. You'll attach the hand to Gohan, and then you can make it look like he's actually doing the Kamehameha. Obviously, you can put it on. So I have Beast Gohan here. Let's see if these actually attach on the Beast Gohan. Do these? Yeah, these attach onto Beast Gohan relatively well, and even the Beast Gohan didn't use the Kamehameha in the movie. You can obviously have Beast Gohan do that if you want to. That is a display option, and I'm glad they gave it to us here with Orange Piccolo. So overall, some pretty solid accessories. As you can see, I'll go back to the actual effect here. You can see you have this transparent plastic. I think that looks really, really good. You do have some very nicely painted. I just like the blue. I think they did a fantastic job with the blues here and their choices. So overall, Piccolo comes with some pretty damn good accessories, and there is an extra one, but I believe it's just you pick and choose, because I was looking at all the holes on this thing and I was trying to fit them. It's like a puzzle piece, and this one did not have another hole that it could fit in. So unfortunate stuff there, but maybe I'm doing it wrong, but I believe that maybe you can only have 5 there. But yeah, a very nice wide array of accessories. I just wish there was a bit more. I don't know what else they could do. The only thing, I talked to my buddy about it, is they could do like a pair of stretchy hands. That's about it, because he obviously used them in the movie. So, they could have done that, but I don't know how much that would have increased the price of this guy. So, yeah, it's whatever. What are you gonna do? All right, the last thing we're going to discuss here today is my little QC issue. It's not huge, but it's something to note. So, for some reason, my legs are kind of loose. I don't know how to describe it. These just don't feel as tight as most SH Figuarts have. I'm not saying it's super loose, but it's definitely looser than I'd like it to be. Like, he holds this fine. Like, it's fine that he can hold his leg up on his own without me supporting it. And same thing for this one, see? He can hold it, but it just feels a little loose. Like, yeah, you can see that, right? Like, it's just, I'm not even tapping that hard. It's just, you see what I mean? Like, it's a little loose. And I don't know how this is on your copy. My copy, it does feel a little weird because it does make his balance a bit rough. But other than that, I do think that this is a really good figure. Just that little QC, I thought I'd mention that just in case you guys also have it. I don't know if it's really that bad across all copies, but something to mention. Alright guys, here are my final thoughts on Orange Piccolo, the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Super Superhero Orange Piccolo. I gotta say, it's a really solid release. I'm not saying it's a slam dunk knock out of the park, but it's a good release. The main things that hold this back really is just the articulation. It's really that it. And the other thing about this guy is my friend mentioned this really well. He's like, I don't know what to do with him. There's not much to do with him. Like, sure, he looks really good when you pose him and stuff like that, but there's not much else to do because he didn't do a ton, like, besides his stretchy arms thing in the movie and increase his size. But obviously, they might. I don't know if they will, but they haven't made like a giant, grade 8 SH Figuarts sized Piccolo, Orange Piccolo. And so I can definitely see, people knocking off points for this thing kind of just being there to look good. And I totally understand that. And in addition, obviously, as I mentioned, the articulation is what holds this thing back. It's similar to Beast Gohan, and it's a bit unfortunate that that's the case, but I do think that it's well painted. Not only is the shading really nice across his gi, but it's also really, really good on his face. I think they did the facial stuff really, really well. His hands look good. All of the details for his appendages on his arms, like the red and yellow bits there, as well as the just orange plastic that they chose was really good. They obviously also painted his Namekian symbol on the back. Overall, really, really solid stuff, and I think that this deserves an 8 out of 10, but no higher than that in my opinion. So, overall, if you guys want to pick this figure up, I picked mine up on the Big Bad Toy Store. I think he's still available. I believe the pre-order window on P Bandai has expired, but if it isn't, I will also leave a link to P Bandai so you can look at that listing in the description below. Other than that, yeah, is he worth the $80 price tag? I do think he is. The plastic, he's big, he's thick, and I think he's really, really cool. So, that's about it for Orange Piccolo. So I thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please like, comment, rate, and subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Also follow me on the socials linked in the description below. And with that, guys, that is it for me, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you on the next one. You take it easy, guys. Peace.